You can be able to see my screen.
Uh, yes.
I don't know why it's black, but you can see it, right?
Yeah.
So I think what you're going to do, we're going to do a project. We're going to create something like what we call uh, what was I address book. I want us to create an address book. In this address
Yeah.
book, you'll be able to see contacts. You can be able to have a few cards, show details of somebody, their photos, and things like that.
Yeah.
So I will want us to do it step by step, maybe in 2 or 3 classes. Then we can be able to see how to fit everything together. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't have the design in mind, but we're going to design it as we move along.
Okay.
So initially, when you're starting off a new project, you need to create a new folder. So what I'm going
Yeah.
to do here is I'm going to come to my documents here. Then I'll create a new folder. Mm, Show more options, new folder, and I'll call it address book. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, every time you're creating a project for this address book, we'll need several folders. We'll need a folder called CSS. We need a folder called images. So images.
Abigail.
Then is
Hello,
there
how are
anything
you?
else you might need? Yeah, you might need other plugins, but I
Are
think
you
that will
alright?
do for now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I
Now,
will open this page document inside
about
the
tomorrow's training.
up inside the
We
Visual
wanted to
Studio
sponsor
Code.
one person. What profit?
So Visual Studio Code.
Hmm?
So I'll open Visual Studio Code here.
Hello.
Then I'll come to okay. This one is black.
See,
I don't
tomorrow
know
we're
why.
having a training. I'm saying we want to sponsor one person.
This
How do you know about it?
okay. Let me just close this window.
So we have to know that what happened tomorrow.
So what you're going to do
Now,
is
the payment credit.
you can open
Payment
this
credit.
one on CMD. Then you say code
Oh, we
dot.
can pay after the training.
So that should allow me to open the
Ah, fine.
folder in Visual Studio
Sawa,
Code.
atakuja kesho. Inaanza saa
Okay.
ngapi?
Yeah.
Here you can create a new
Oh,
file,
9, eh?
and I can call it index.html. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we're going to have style.css. Okay. And of
Yeah.
course, here we're going to place the images that we want to use on our page. So, of course, what I'm going to start with on index of HTML, I'm going to put this, and I'm going to call this one address book. So this is going to be a project, so it means you're going to do a lot of things at the same time. So we're going to be writing CSS and HTML and all that kind of a thing at exactly the same time. So we have our address book over here. Now, our address book at the top, I want us on the right hand corner of the window to have an icon of the address book. The other right hand corner of the window to have a button that says something like sign in. Okay. So maybe you're creating a directory for our university. You want to know where everybody else is. But if I log in as administrator, I can be able to add in new people. Otherwise, the other should be able to just allow me to should just be able to allow me to add very simple things. So I think you can be able to look at that.
So I for time being I stop uploading the attendance because of that issue that evening both evening punch is going as in punch and out punch.
Since we come again, or they're not coming as an exception.
Exception, they are not coming as an exception. That is what.
Let's check on it because it's something very just talking introduction.
Okay.
We want to give some half of the shift to
Hmm.
get this timing. Just confirm outside. The other side put it as absent.
Hmm. Absent and that is coming okay, but it should not go. It should be null. But I don't know. And then it should come in as an exception. Okay. There are a lot of things. Yeah.
Small
Many small things are coming. and these are the things. But you check on the leave, let them apply for the leave and all, so that at least we can close it. Mm. Then we see overtime. We have to see overtime because before we ask them, then the whole new functionality we have. I can understand earlier you don't have data, but now since we have data, we can thoroughly test it if it is going through properly, not good. And I would like to now take this backend so that even I can query for myself and I can identify such issues are there, not what are. Okay. Yes, I just take the read only. I don't want data now. So
Okay.
tomorrow what time? Tomorrow is the second. I will not be there beyond 2. 1, 2.
Mm. By 9 maybe, yeah. Let's come on. I mean, because we want to work on these small issues. So when tomorrow we come, in fact, let's quickly share that file.
I share.
You share.
Okay.
Let's
No,
share then.
let me share to both of you.
Yeah.
Then for the update, I will share it after some time. So I'm not not uploading right now because of that issue. So till 14, 15 only I have updated.
Okay, so we already have this. Sorry about that. I was talking to somebody. So we already have this body. So on the body, we can put maybe the header at the very, very top. Then we have the main section, something like that. Then we have footer. So remember, these are HTML semantics that can allow us to be able to create pages in different elements. Okay. So inside the header, I want to have two icons. One on the extreme right side, showing the icon of the application. One on the on the left hand side, showing the icon of the application. One on the extreme right hand side, showing the icon for signing in. Right, something of the sort. So remember when we were talking about one dimension layout, we talked about flex grids, right? So I'm going to create a div here, and this in this div, this will be I can give it a class of maybe say logo or yeah logo, something of the sort. Then I can create another div here with a class of signing. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to place my logo on the extreme right hand side, then button on login on the extreme right hand side. But then on this header, I might also want to format it in such a way that the styles it has a darker background and the main section has a brighter background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into CSS over here and I'm going to create what we call override styles. So I want to override what the colors would do. So on the override styles, we have yeah, on for all the elements, yeah, okay, I can give for all the elements a good sorry, okay, box sizing is border box, margin is 0, and padding is also 0. At least these are the three basic ones. You can also set your main font here if you want, but at least for all the elements, this is what we're going to use. At least for
Yes,
all of
sir.
them, it's going to be resized. Now, because I want this background to have a darker color, so I'll come here and I'll say something like for the header, so I'll say background, then I'll say use something like um, blue, right? So if I open this page, sorry, this index, and I go live, I cannot include the style file, so that's why it's not showing up. So I'll need to, well, I can put them side by side. So I can go to Visual Studio Code. then put them side by side like that. What I'm going to do is I want to include the CSS file here so that it picks up. Okay, so we said we just need to have link because we are going to use different document. Then here I'll go to the folder called CSS, then style.css like that. So again, I have my header here. I haven't given it a height, so maybe what I could do is to give it a height. So I'll give it a height of say uh, 50 pixels. So you can see now it's there. 50 pixels is actually a lot. Let me put it at like 40. So you can see now it has, okay, even 40 is a lot. Maybe I can give it 30. Something like that, right? So at least I have the head over there. So let's place the two buttons over here. One for our icon, the other one for signing in. So again, what we said is we need to include font awesome. We need to include font awesome inside this file. So for font awesome, again, we'll come inside here, and then we'll add font awesome. Well, we can go online, but I usually have font awesome installed within my system. So I can come here. I've already downloaded it. So I have samples here. So XAMPP, HTDocs. Then I'll come to, I think HR and Payroll has it. HR and Payroll. So I'll pick these web fonts. This is where font awesome is. Okay. So I will copy this and I will. And you remember how we downloaded it, right? So you can just download what we had, but I'll come inside this PC. Actually, it's my documents. And inside my documents, I have created a folder. The folder I've called it address book. I think I called it, yeah, it's here address book. So I'm going to put my web fonts over here. Then I just pick the CSS file for font awesome, which is this all.css. This is the CSS file for font awesome. So I'll copy it and I'll make it part of the CSS files here. So what I'm going to do is once I do that, then I'm also going to include it inside my files. So I'm going to include those inside my files here. So I'll say link. Then on the link, I'll put CSS. Then here, I'll go to the CSS folder and I'll pick all the CSS like that. That should be able to allow me to have font awesome installed on my system. So I want to put an icon for address book over here. So inside this header section on the logo side, I'll put a font awesome icon and the font awesome uh, class of font awesome light, then font awesome. I don't know if it's an address book, but I can search here. I can say font awesome search. I can simply say here address. Yeah, so address book, I think I can use this address card. It's a nice looking icon, right? So I can say font awesome.
It's pro.
Yeah, it's pro. The one I have is pro, so that would work. So what should be address? The one I've listed here is pro, so that would work. Eh?
Okay.
So once I put it there like that, I can go back to my address book and I can see it's actually come. So now I just need to style it a bit, okay? So
Yeah.
I'll simply come here and say I have my logo. So on this logo, I want the color to be maybe white, right? So then I need to have a padding of maybe say 5 pixels all around. So I think up to that point it's still looking nice. Can I make it bigger?
Yeah.
So that is okay.
Make it a little bit bigger.
So font size, okay, we can do font size. Maybe say let's use something like larger. So you can see slightly larger than normal, right?
Yeah.
So that's good. Then the next thing we want to do is to put our sign-in icon on this side, isn't it?
Yeah.
So for our signing icon, I'll simply come here to this other section. So I'll just put comments here. So this is logo section. Then here we have the sign in section like that. Okay. So in the
Yeah.
sign in section, we're going to put a button. Okay. With a okay, it's just going to be a button. Then inside the button, we can now add a font awesome icon that says sign in, font awesome, light, font awesome. I think there's something called sign in, if I'm not wrong. Let me just find out. Yeah, actually, I've seen it's there. I've seen it's actually there. Okay,
Yeah.
but we want it to be up here. Okay,
Yeah.
since we want to be up here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this header section and we're going to make it a flex. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to come here and inside this header here, we're going to say display is flex. So the items are there, right? Then because we want the icons to be the same, we can give the padding at the flex box so that all the elements in the flex box are padded, have the same padding, okay?
Yeah.
Something like that. Now, but because I want them to be on the extreme right, I'll simply come here and say justify content, and I'll say space between. So you can see it has gone to the extreme end, okay?
Yeah.
So this is how you build it and you work it out bit by bit. Okay. Now I also want this icon to have a nice background. Okay. So for this sign in button, let's give it a nice background. Then we can change the font to be white, right? So
Yeah.
I think we call it sign in. We give it a class of sign in. Yes, we give it a class of sign in. So we're going to say anything that has a class of sign in sign in like that. When we make the color white, the font is larger. Well, I might not want the font to be larger, but maybe say I want the color to be white and I want the background. Okay, if it is sign in and it's a button, we want the button inside the sign in. Okay, so for the button inside the sign in, you can see the color is white. Then you can change the background to be maybe something like that. Then I can give it some sort of padding, okay? Maybe say 5 pixels all around. Well, that doesn't look so good. Can do left and right, 5 pixels. Um, well, I can make the font size. Okay, 5 pixels all around there is terrible enough. But let me say left and right, top and bottom is 0, left and right is 5, something like that, okay?
Yeah.
So then I can change the border to be none. I don't want any border on the icon. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, there's no border as you can see. Then I can change the border radius to be 5 pixels, right? So it's not very sharp as it is. Okay. You can see right now the corners are very sharp. If I put
Yeah.
5 pixels now, it's a little bit rounded. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I can now add a sign in button. So I can come here and say before these are pseudo classes, then I'll put content and I'll simply put the content to be, I want the content rather to be sign in. Why didn't it pick? It should have picked anyway. I can't use it here like that. I'll have to put it outside. So I'll come here and say sign in button. So here it's going to be before. So before you put anything else, then we put the content.
hata nimepata nimeno huo
Content.
namba yake.
Remember, this is not scripted. We're just doing it on the fly. We're assuming this is how you will be doing it through and through. So I'll say sign in. So you can see it has put the sign in just before the button. So I can go ahead and now format the style. Now you can see this content is not part of the HTML. Okay, I'm just trying to show us how to use pseudo classes to, to, to generally work with different elements altogether. Okay,
Yeah.
so I can come here and say font size, maybe say something like uh, 0.7 rem, root element size, so still big. Then I can give a margin right of say another 5 pixels, so it separates this text from this icon, right?
Yeah.
Anything else we can do to it to make it look nicer? It all depends on how you want to go about it. Okay.
Yeah.
So generally we have achieved. So if I open this one, you can see I have made it that way. So I have the icon here, which is our address book. Then you have our sign in button here. So again, sorry, if I wanted it to look a little bit on the nicer side, so I'll just have this, and I'll have them side by side. I like having them side by side so that when I'm working, I'm seeing what I am achieving.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
that rule wataqualify.
So that is good. So maybe I
Yeah.
can say this. Yeah, I think that is not bad. That looks nicer like that. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then inside here, I want to show us the addresses that we have captured so far, so that maybe I can have a search bar. I can have a search bar, and well, it will depend on how you would like to have it. But let me first of all say I want to list all the addresses that we have inside here. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create addresses, these ones over here. So I can have something like my heading. So welcome to address book. So this is the address book for the college. So we want to see how things work out. Now that title does not look very nice. So I can give it a class here, and I can call it our main heading, like main heading, right? So it should be inside the quotes like that. So we can format the main heading. Okay. So here, say main heading. So inside our main heading, we can say the font size is maybe 1.3 from the root element. So that makes it a little bit smaller. Then font family. Then we have this font called Sibu UI. I like it. You can see it's sunny font and all that. Then we can change the color. And by the way, usually when we want to work with colors, we can give them as part of the root element and store them in variables so that now we don't necessarily need to create the colors every other time. Okay. So when I say root element, then I give something like this primary color. This is going to be my primary color, but I want my primary color to be this navy blue. Okay. I want my primary color to be navy blue, like that. So it means that if I wanted to use navy blue, I'll simply call this primary color. Okay. So how you use it is you come down here. So instead of saying navy blue, simply put variable, then in bracket, I put the variable name, primary color. You can still see it has maintained. So if I change it to something like green here, you'll see that this one has actually changed to green. So in short, if I was doing a very large application and I wanted it to be customizable in different ways, then I would have to declare the variables up here so that I just refer the variables rather than the actual values that I'm working with. It's much easier to work with them that way. Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So I'll just give it back to navy blue. So I'll give the secondary color is a slightly lighter shade of navy blue. we'll give a slightly nicer shade of navy blue. So it should be something like that. Okay. So that's our second one.
And
So what
plus,
I'm going to do here is
network
I'll say here for the name that the color would be
anyway, and
a variable that points to our secondary color like that. So you can see this color has changed. Okay.
Yeah.
Then of course I can change the size. Should be 0.1.2. I can give some sort of padding so that it moves. So padding left. Sorry. So there's a padding of left, and padding of left. I'll probably give it say 10 pixels. It just goes inside a bit like that. So it's not off with this. Okay. Now for my body, because it's too large, I might want to give it width, maximum width rather, of I think 960 pixels is good enough. Okay.
Yeah.
So what it means is that if I open fully, you can see it has actually given me 960, only that now it has not centered the elements. Okay.
Yeah.
It's actually given me full width of 960. So what I'm going to say is I want margin zero auto, which means that's going to be centered so that you can see now I have a space here and I have some space here. Okay.
Yeah.
So actually it's not covering the whole page, but it's leaving out the spaces at the back so that it's not very, very wide. So you can use any width that you want, but I think 960 is good if you ask me. Okay.
Yeah.
But of course, if you see if the screen is smaller, it'll just cover the entire width.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So the other thing would be now we want to start creating the badges here so that you're able to see who are our people. So we might want to put an image, we put name, we put telephone number, we put department, and we put the status, right?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do here, we're going to create what we call a card. So inside the main section here, we're going to have cards, or yeah, we can call them cards. We're going to add cards. So we are going to have a div with a class of cards. But then you don't want to put divs because div is the default. So when I just say I put cards like that, it's going to create a div automatically. You don't necessarily need to create a card. Okay. So I can say then I have one card. Now this card will have an image. Okay.
Yeah.
Then the image will be on the left hand side. So then besides the image, we're going to have another section that has content like that. So content is where we're going to show the name, the email, maybe John Doe at kenya.ac.ke, something like that. Then we can also have their phone number like that. Then, yeah. Now for the images, I want to use a placeholder because I don't have an image as yet. So I just want to format it nicely so that it looks a little bit nice as we go along. Okay.
Yeah.
But you get the gist. So what I'm going to do is I have an image placeholder in one of my files over here. So if I come here to images, I have a blank avatar. I have this blank avatar, this blank avatar. I want to use this blank avatar, okay?
Yeah.
So I'll copy it and paste it inside our images here. So on address book, we have our images here. So I want to have it here so that I can be able to use it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so since we have it there, I'll just minimize this. Then I'll come here and I'll put an image tag. And that image tag, I'll go to images folder. Then I'll pick blank avatar like that. So that image is going to appear here, and you can see everything is not looking very, very nice. Okay?
Yeah.
So we need to start formatting it so that now the address book starts to look a little bit nicer as we move along. Okay?
Yeah.
So what you're going to do here, we're going to come to our style, and we're going to call our cards. So formatting our card like that. So we're going to come here and pick our cards. First thing we say is display flex because we want them to display on top between one another. So I'm not going to give a okay. I can give a padding of 10 pixels. That's not a big deal. So you might not see actually is it called cards or card? It's actually called cards, and cards has a single card which is flex. So a card, even a card I want to display as flex. So I'll come and pick my card also, and I'll pick display is going to be flex because I want them to display on top of next to one another like that. So you can see the image is on the right, the other content should be on the left, as you can see over here, right? So right and left. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have justify content. Then I'll say space between. I want them to be specified space between. Then this particular card, I'll give it a width of maybe say 30%. I want or 25%. I want 5 cards per row. So it's going to be how weight of 25%. Okay. Then inside that card, I have an image. So that image, I want to make it smaller, something like that. So you can see now the image has become much smaller. Okay. So I've taken the card, I've taken an image, and I've given it a very small size. Well, maybe I can give it a 60 by 60. And by the way, if you want to maintain aspect ratio, you can only give one dimension. When you give one dimension, it will try to maintain the aspect ratio. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so usually a good idea to give it one dimension so that it picks that. Then now we want to format these other things. So on the card, I have now the details of the card. The details is content.
Yeah.
So I'll say get me the content. Now this content is not going to display as flex, but what I want it to do is to have a font family. Font size 0.8 frame, so it's smaller, and a font family of maybe let's use some nice text like tribute. So you can see it becomes nicer as we move along, but I want the email and the font to be smaller. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I want the email and the font to be smaller, I'll come here and say any paragraph that inside that tag should have even smaller text. Okay. So if I come to my card, my content, then I put paragraph. I can say the font size would be something like 0.5. So you can see they become much okay. 0.5 is a little bit on the lower side, but let me put it 0.6. Something like that. That's readable, right?
Yeah.
Now on the card itself, I wanted to have a border. Okay. On this border, I want it to be 1 pixel, solid, gray in color. Well, I've put that in the card content. It should have been on the card itself here. Okay.
Yeah.
Something like that. Then we need to give it a border radius of say about 5 pixels. Okay. Border radius of 5 pixels. Something like that. So you can see it looks nicer. So this card is not so bad. So maybe what I can do is I can add another paragraph here for department. Okay. Something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can just say
Uh,
Information Studies Department,
mm,
something like that.
mm,
Okay.
Yeah.
mm,
Um, yeah. So you get the idea, but of course I need to give it some space. So the main section I need to
mm,
to space it up from the top address. Okay.
Yeah.
So for the main section, just before, and I'm looking at this from a CSS perspective because the font is the styles are applied in hierarchy.
mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's why you see I'll go up and down. So the styles that I want to apply faster than the others, I want them to go at the top. Okay,
Yeah.
the ones that I want to be below, then I put them below. So that's why you'll see I'm going back and forth as we're doing this.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Yes.
when I come here, I'll just pick this main section, uh, which is just under main heading. So I'll say main section like that. Then I'll give it a parity of 10 pixels. Well, 10 is a bit smaller. So let me just give it a margin top. Margin top of say 30 pixels. Just separate it from the main content. So it even 30 pixels is a bit small. Okay. Let's put 40 pixels. 50. Well, I'm not seeing much going on, so what could be the issue? So for the main section, let me give it a class, main section. So I can create a div and call it main section. So instead of calling it main section, let me create a div with a class of
Main section.
main section. Semantics are very important, how you write your semantics, huh?
Yeah.
Yes. So main section like that. So you can see now the main section has actually come down. That was not my intention. My intention was to have, but that's also okay because it has told us what happens. So what I'm supposed to deal with is the main heading should have a bottom style. So instead of having the main section here, so it's the main heading that I should give uh, margin bottom, sorry, of not 10 pixels, but say around, I think 20 pixels is good. Okay, 10 pixels is not bad. Okay,
Yeah.
so for the cards, I can give them a margin of left and right, top and bottom is 0, left and right maybe give it 20 pixels so that they don't go to the edge so much, something like that. Okay, 20 is a bit too big, so let me give them 10. So when you're designing, okay, I was supposed to give them 10, so I have messed up, should be 10. So that's not so bad, right? So you can see it has not gone the extreme edges. Now let's pick this John Doe and give it this color that we have over
Hello.
here, and maybe even make it italic, right?
Unalala saa ngapi?
So I'll come
Unalala saa
here.
ngapi?
My John Doe is heading 2. So content then heading 2. So I'll come here and I'll put card content card content. Then I want to take heading 2, right? And that heading 2, I want to format it a bit. I want to reduce the font size. So I've reduced the font size. It's not very big. Okay.
Mm.
So maybe I can give it 0.9. That's better. Yeah, that is actually okay. Then probably what I could do is I can change that color. So I can say the color is not text color, but I call it secondary color. So you can see the color changes. Now that this way now CSS is very powerful. So you can see this color and this color are the same, but I'm using a variable name, which if I need to change, I'll just come here and adjust the variable. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's the beauty of it. Then of course I can say text text um, transform, not transform but decoration. I can it's actually not decoration. I wanted style, text style, style. Yeah, it should have a text style. Oh, okay. Anyway, let me leave it at that. I don't think it looks so bad up to that point, right? So you see the good thing here is I already have a card over here. So what will happen is if I added two other cards, so this is first employee, so this is first. Then I can add another employee, second employee. Yeah. So you'll see now, well, there's one problem. This is covering the entire person. So what I'll just say, this is gender. So this one is on admissions. Then this is gender, and it's triple one, triple one. So yeah, so you can see gender is actually there, but now all of them are wrapped in one large box. So I didn't want all of them wrapped in one box. I wanted only one card to be wrapped in box, not all the cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my cards over here, then I'll take these ones and put it on the card like that. Well, so you can see that's a bit of a problem because I have a card. Um, Let me see. That card doesn't look nice at all. So let me see. What did I do? So I apply that. So let me change this. Um, okay, so the other card has overwritten the other card. So I have cards, then card. So and this is how you do. This is actually how you try to achieve it until you get it right. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just try to apply yourself and then you try to see how they fit in until you get everything nicely done. Okay?
Yeah.
What I can do here, I can come back and try to check one of my HTML. So I have cards. Then cards should have a card inside. Then I have another card inside. Did I close properly? I think I missed to close this card. I think I missed to close one card here, which is
Yeah.
the content here. I failed to close here like that. So you can see that was my mistake. But of course, I also have to come down here and close this one. So you can see how powerful writing it wrong gets you.
Yeah.
Something like that. So now I have these cards looking nice. So if I open this, you can see it tries to fit. So what happens is that it has given each of them 25%, but I could actually ignore that because I'm using a flex grid and a flex should, yeah, okay, cards, flex wrap, margin, okay. Yeah, I've not restricted the size of the card. I don't know why it is, but nonetheless, on the card, I can give some, on each card, I can give some padding. So padding of say left and right, I'll give 10 pixels, top and bottom 0 pixels, top and bottom, maybe say 5 pixels, then left and right, 10 pixels, something like that, okay?
Yeah.
Open it, you go to see, now that's how they look like. They're not really, squashed of some sort. It starts to look a little bit nicer. And the good thing here is that I can add more cards so that I see how they look like. Okay?
Yeah.
I can go ahead and add more cards so that I see how it looks like. So you can see now this is looking nice. Okay.
Oh,
So if there are two, it looks nice. If I were to add, well, I missed a portion here. Yeah, so it looks nicer. So if I was to put another person here, like Peter Parker, then I have department is animations. I think the rest can remain the same. So you start to see how it looks. Huh?
yeah.
So then I can go ahead and even check another person. Here I can say Ben Parker. Sorry, I have shown this one is Ben Parker. So this is psychology. Then this is Ben Parker. And you can see now it starts to look nice. The only thing is that I need to be able to, you know, give them probably a fixed size so that they look nice. But of course, if it looks on a window like this, you can see it looks really, really nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I want to display it, okay, maybe I'll finish up on on uh, on the knee part on the buttons part. So I can add a button here to create a new address. Then I can have a footer that shows us details about our copyright and stuff like that. Okay, but you
Yeah.
start to see the idea of how now we are putting together HTML and CSS to come up with a page that now makes actual sense. So previously we were doing them bit by bit, and I know a few things were not making sense. But as we are going to be doing this place of ours moving forward, then you start to see how you can be able to fit in everything together to come up with uh, an actual working solution as far as an app is concerned. Okay.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'll leave you with the payment of making it responsive so that if I'm showing it on a mobile device on a smaller screen, then I can apply additional formats as we go along. Of course, we'll provide the solution when we come back to our training, but we only should give you an idea on how we go about this. Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So if I was to copy this content, of course, we are not going to do this like this in practice. We're going to fetch this data in from a database into the future. Then we populate it from a database. So we're not going to do this kind of a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So in future, we're not going to do this kind of a thing. So we're just going to add data that comes from a database. So if you take this form up to there, copy and paste, just to make them look more. Okay.
Yeah.
Something like that. So of course, when I have my pages like this, you can see how that works out. So I think I need to give them but each card needs to have um, um, a margin bottom of even 10 pixels so that they're not wrapped up together as they are. Okay. So
Yeah.
sometimes when you're doing your style, when you're doing your when you're doing your pages, you have to try them back and forth to see how they work out. Okay. So here you can give margin bottom of 10 pixels. So you can see now there's a margin bottom of 10. Okay, 10 is too much. You can give it 5. That's great, right? So if I put like that, you can now see it looks even much much better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's add a button here that will allow us to create a new contact. Then from there we can put a footer. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I'll just bring this one back here and this one back here like that. Okay. Then I will
Yeah.
come here. Then after all this, this was a div called main section. This is a div with a class of main section, so this should be a div, not main section. So that's the div for cards, then div for main section. Okay. So after I have dealt with my cards, now I can go ahead and add a button here that allows me to create a new contact, right?
Yeah.
So you can see it has given me that. So I have a button and I can close this div. Because I can have many buttons, I'll leave it at that. So this button of ours, just go and see. That's what it looks like. Not looking really nice. So we might want to, style it a bit, right? So instead of adding new employee, I think we have a phantasm icon for add user. I think it looks nicer. So it is user plus. Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of using far plus, we can use
User
user
plus.
plus like that. Then of course we're going to take this button. We're going to give it a class of add employee. Okay.
Yeah.
Then now we gotta take that class, that add employee class. So we take get me any icon, any button, anything that has add employee. I don't need to display it as flex. I just need to first of all change its background to our main color. Okay,
Yeah.
is it main or primary? I think primary color.
Primary color.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
I need to give it padding of 5 pixels, left and left, then 10 right. Then we need to change the color of the text to maybe something like white. So let's just see what it looks like. That's what it looks like. So we can change the border to also our color like that. We can change the border radius to be maybe 5 pixels. So it's cornered. Is 5 too big? Maybe we can make it 3. Yeah, 3 isn't bad. Then you can change the font size to be 1 line. That's even bigger. So let me say 0.75. That's still big. Mm, So that looks nice, but I want the icon to be slightly bigger. So I'll say get add employee, then get an icon inside it. Then for the icon, make well, you can make that, but you can change the font size to be 0.8 rem. That is big enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, then for the icon, I'll give this one margin right of maybe it's another 20 pixels just to push it off the inside a bit. Margin left, not right. So that you just push it inside a bit as you can see. Then I can also give it margin bottom of another 20 pixels. So just leave some space at the bottom like that. Okay?
Yeah.
So now you can see it doesn't look as bad. Okay?
Yeah.
So now we can go ahead and create a footer. Then we can put our copyright on the footer. Okay?
Yeah.
So we can have a footer also having a dark color. Well, I'll put them side by side. I think that is going to be nicer to see what it looks like. So here, I'm going to put on the footer. I'm just going to put copyright 2024. Then all rights reserved. Then maybe yeah, something of the sort. Then maybe center the text at this on the center of the page. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll come here on the footer. I'll simply say and copy something like that. So you can see the text over there. So I can come here to start styling my footer. Come and say, yeah, um, something like that. Background is primary color. So this is footer. Footer is an element, not a class, like that. So you can see I have my footer inside there. So I can change my font size to even yeah, 0.8 rem. Then maybe I can change the font family to maybe say Osida, something like that. So you can see I have my header, my details, then I also have my footer. And everything at the footer is actually centered. Okay, so if
Yeah.
I open this page like that, that's what it would look like. But now I want this footer to be at the bottom. Okay,
Yeah.
so if I want the footer to be at the bottom, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say my main content. So I'll come here, this main section, right? I want this main section to cover at least part of the view height. So I'll come and pick main section. So I'll put my main section and I'll say height is um, I'll take the entire. I know that the heading is I don't know. Okay, I don't. I did I give the heading a size? No, but let me say I said the main section. I want the height to be maybe say 0.9 of the view height. 0.9 of the view height, something like that. So if I was to open this, you can see um, it should be 90, not 0.9, but 90, because 100 is 90 view height. So you can see it has come down. So I can might want to, instead of 90, because I know these two also occupy some space, I can say something like 85. Okay. I'm just trying to show you how we use the different techniques that we had learned and how to put it together. So you can see now it looks like an actual site that is very, very nicely. And of course, I can add as much detail as possible or inside the page and all that, but you get the idea of where I was driving at.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So this is something that you should try out and see if you can be able to come up with the same so that now we can be able to see how to move to the next step. I want us to start looking at JavaScript so that now we can be able to see how we can be able to add this content or even play with the content on this page dynamically without necessarily refreshing the contents of the pages.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I share with you this video so that you can try it out. Maybe
Yeah.
you can download from Tosam. You can use the free fonts. You don't have to use the professional ones, as
Yeah.
long as you are able to achieve the more or less the exact results.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any question up to that point?
No, maybe I'll just watch the video, and if there's a problem, I can text you and then I'll tell you.
No problem at all. So let me just share it immediately. Then you can be able to see how to move forward.
Okay. Have a nice day.
Okay, you too.